So with that said, let's get to our guest speaker real quickly here. She hails in Northern California. She made a decision about a month ago. She said, Miss Thomas, I'm starting over like I'm a brand new IBO. I'm gonna build it back up and I'm all in. I'm all in. That was her words. I quoted it. I'm all in. And so she's here with us today. I can't wait to hear what she has to say. Can we give a warm welcome to Regional Vice President, none other than Miss Keri Roeder?
Good morning, Mr. Thomas. Good afternoon for those of us on the East Coast. Super excited to be on these calls. It is always just such an honor and a privilege, Mr. Thomas, when you invite me to be a part of this leadership conversation. Is such an honor. I was having a conversation with somebody after last week's call when you were on your cruise and just talking about, I'm sure you've watched it. Last week, we talked about FU money, which is funds unlimited or fun unlimited or something else, however you want to say it. But we're talking about having those options in your life. And I was explaining to somebody how you're one of my main mentors. He's actually the person I sent the picture to after that leadership thing. And we were just talking about lifestyle and your ability to teach us how to have what it is we want. And, and our ability to be coachable and follow directions is how we get what we want. And you have given us every single tool to be successful. It's just a matter of using those tools. And I was trying to explain to him that, it's interesting when those of us who've been around for a while, we understand the quality in which of a mentor you are and how much we are able to really utilize your information. But the new people on the call, that's who I want to talk to in this quick moment is Mr. Al Thomas is somebody that people literally fly around the country and fly around the world to be able to have even just a couple of hours with him to glean a little of information because his level of success is tremendous. His 3 billionaire mentors with a B. Like, how many of us can say that? That's insane, right? And so he takes all of the information. I know information he got from the cruise, he's going to forward on to us. But the idea that we have him at our disposal is amazing. And so my saying about Mr. Thomas is don't take him for granted, take advantage of him. Use him as one of your biggest tools to create success in what it is we're looking for. And so I am just honored and privileged to be a part of everything that you do. And that's crazy. 8,500 people have watched that. That's funny. The short one is funny though. The behind the scenes. You just never know what I'm going to say behind the scenes. You never know what I'm saying on these things too. So imagine what behind the scenes looks like. So that's too funny. But so I want to continue our conversation from last week. And it was the FU money, right? What would you do? And Mr. Clemens sent me screenshots because I was out at the lake, right? When I did last week's out at the lake. And I was sharing, kind of summarize it. I was talking about, what I live in paradise now. I live in my version of paradise, which is a large body of water you can boat on. There's a golf course. It's a private gated community. Like you have to be like, it's Fort Knox to get in here. So I'm super safe, right? I have amazing friends. So I lived out in my version of paradise. However, I'm not on the lake yet. And so that's one of my FU monies is to get on the lake. That's one of my visions. Some of you like the cold mountain snow, right? That kind of thing. The whole conversation started off with, what are your goals? What do you want? If you had FU money, what would your life look like? And I loved that some of you put it in the chat. So please, again, put it, if you thought about it, if you did your assignment, right? If you'll put it in the chat, what your life is going to look like with FU money. And then did you ask other people, right? We talked about that. Did you go around asking everybody, if you had FU money, what would your life look like? Because by doing that, it can stimulate more thought in your brain, right? So I don't remember if I said this on the call because I've been talking about FU money for a week now. One of my FU money, Mr. Thomas, is to pack my toothbrush and my overnight bag, right? And go to the airport. And we're going to stand there. We're going to go, where do you want to go today, honey? Right? And we're going to pick a spot. And we're going to buy a first class ticket to wherever that spot is one way. We're going to get there. I'm going to buy all my clothes, right? Because I'm just bringing my toiletries. I'm going to bring my toothbrush, my clothes. And we're going to buy all the clothes we need there. And then decide how long we're going to stay, and then go to the airport and go, where do we want to go next, right? That is one of my FU Money activities to do. Another FU Money is we're going to be starting a foundation that's going to be helping people pay their medical bills. So I think some of us would agree that sometimes we hear about how people go into debt, right? How they go into bankruptcy, right? Because of a medical bill and something unexpected to them. And so we're going to be starting a foundation that's actually going to help people apply, that we can help pay for their medical bills. That's you need money to start the foundation. So part of my FU Money is going to start that foundation, which is then going to impact the world. So when you can really start to think about what will you do with your FU Money, not only will you think about yourself, I get the chills, but you'll think about how you can impact the world. And I love that some of your FU Money was as simple as having a place for my grandchildren, right? I love that, absolutely. Because one of the things I've come to realize is we all have different dreams and aspirations. And guess what? All of our dreams and aspirations, no matter the level, is totally cool. If you want something so simple as just a safe place that you own a home and your friends and family can come be there, great, right? If you are grandiose like I am, great. If you're grandiose like I am, please do not ever allow anybody to talk you out of your grandiosity, okay? We've talked about this before in some of the other ones, about the brown apples, right? We've talked about how the crabs, right? They bring you down, they want to keep you down, they break your legs, they kill you because they can't have the vision. And so they don't want you to have the vision. Well, if you went grandiose in your FU Money, or if you're going to go grandiose after this phone call, right? Please do not allow people to take you down, because that's their issue. That is their concern. I've said this 100 times. You've heard this before. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, we get to spend time with Mr. Thomas, right? He gets on private jets and private planes and goes on cruises last minute and lives like this quality lifestyle. It's insane. He doesn't ever allow anybody to say, oh, wow, you're thinking too big. You're visualizing too big. You'll never get that. Absolutely not. So yesterday, floating around the lake, going around looking at houses, we're like, let's pick a house. Let's pick a house. Let's pick a house and just, that's the one I want. Get out of the water, go up, knock on the door and say, your house is for sale because I'm buying it today, right? That is something that I'm going to do someday. And I'll never, ever let anybody tell me that I can't do it. Ever. Ever. Right, Mr. Thomas? No. If I want that house, it is for sale because I am buying it today, right? My point of this conversation is, when we dream big, when we have this big vision, sometimes people, it makes them uncomfortable because they're either unwilling to visualize that big, or they're unwilling to do the work it takes to get it. And that's what today's conversation is about. After you do the big dreaming FU Money, this is what it's going to look like. And we've talked about this before. You need to live in the future, right? When my friend asked me that a couple of weeks ago, he's like, what would you do if you had FU Money? I'm like, I have it now. He's like, you do? I'm like, I live in the future, right? I was explaining this to somebody the other day. We're talking about ACN and how people see the business overview, right? And then they go to the training and they get this big vision of what's possible, right? And they start dreaming and all that. And then they don't get it the very next day or the very next month. And they're like, oh, ACN doesn't work. This sucks, right? So I was explaining to somebody that one of the tasks that I have in training is teaching mindset, and teaching mindset that, when you see ACN and you get the big vision and you know your reason why, part of why we need to know your reason why is that way when you have the emotional roller coaster, right? You go on the ups and downs. When you're in the downhill part of the emotional roller coaster, when we know your reason why, is as part of your leadership, we can help kind of encourage you to keep going. And one of the things I say regularly in the mindset training is this. Listen, this is not a get rich quick scheme. This is a get wealthy over time business, which is much better than the plan I was on, which is get wealthy never, right? We can utilize ACN to get what it is we want out of life. But I also say this, you're not going to be wealthy by the end of this calendar year. By the end of the next calendar year, you might be in a financial situation where you can make different choices in your life. But in no expectation do I want anybody who ever sees ACN and gets started to think that overnight, suddenly you're going to go buy the lake house. No, It takes consistent effort over a long enough period of time, being coachable and doing what it takes, part-time, doing what it takes in order to be successful. So most all of us know Mr. Dean Trolley, top producing regional vice president. For those of you who are new on the call, you'll hear from him. He's absolutely amazing. I wrote down a quote that he said on Saturday's training. If you treat something seriously, something part-time seriously, you can start to make serious money part-time. So if you treat something that's part-time seriously, you can make serious money part-time. See, nobody's going to quit. We showed the business somebody the other day, and she's like, well, I really need to keep my job. I'm like, oh, God, yes, you're keeping your job. People don't quit their jobs to do ACN. This isn't a job. This is a part-time gig you're going to do. What does Mr. Thomas always say? You work your job 9 to 5 to pay your bills, and then you build your business from 5 to 9 and on the weekends in order to build your wealth, right? So by treating this seriously, what Mr. Trolley, I interpret Mr. Trolley meant is that if you're going to be coachable and you're going to be consistent and you're going to do this over a long enough window of time, we can help you accomplish what it is you want. Now, I usually say this, and I didn't start it off with this, but remember, I can see myself, so I'm also talking to myself. So the description I want to give you is this. You're going to be pushing a boulder up a hill. Okay, so I want you to, if you can, close your eyes. If you're driving, don't, right? But if you can, close your eyes, and I just want you to have a visual. You're at the bottom of a hill, okay? And you have a boulder. That boulder is your FU money. How bad do you want it? Or it's your simple why, right? Why did you get started at ACN? You know, do you want to pay for college? Do you just want to pay for your utilities? Like, what do you want out of ACN? But you're at the bottom of a hill and you've got a boulder. So is it a small boulder? Is it a big boulder? Doesn't matter. It's your boulder, okay? And your boulder might get bigger as you have more success than ACN. Mine did, okay? So you're at the bottom of a hill. So close your eyes. You're at the bottom of a hill and you have your boulder. Now, you have coaches alongside you cheering you on, giving you very clear instructions of how to start pushing that boulder, how to roll it. How, you first might want to rock it a little bit, right? And then it's going to start to roll. And then as you start to roll it, we're going to teach you how to roll that boulder up the hill, right? And if you just keep going, if you just keep in movement part-time, and you follow the coach's directions, you follow Mr. Thomas's directions, you're going to be pushing and you're going to be rolling this boulder up the hill, up the hill, up the hill. And eventually you're going to reach the top of the hill. And then you're going to, all of a sudden, the boulder's just going to take off and go down the other side of the hill with no control of your own. And here's why. As you're building and as you're pushing that boulder, you're going to find people like me. You're going to find people like Rick. You're going to find people like James. You're going to find people like Mr. Clemens. You're going to find people who want to build this business and who has nothing to do with you. That just happen to be in your organization and they want to go to the top of this company. And so when your boulder goes to the other side, that's us. That's us running to regional vice president. And by the way, you get enough people in lines of business running to regional vice president, you will be promoted to senior vice president. Go read the compensation plan. It's genuinely that simple, right? Here's the challenge. And here's what I was explaining to somebody the other day. It takes consistent effort over a long enough period of time. So if you take that boulder and you rock it and you rock it and you rock it and you rock it and you're coachable in the beginning and you start to push that boulder up the hill and then you pause for a minute. Okay, I'm tiny. I am 5 foot tall and 100 something pounds. Okay, if I stop, that boulder is going to run me over. Would you agree? Right? So even if you're a big, strong, strapping dude like Mr. Thomas, right? It's still going to run you over if you stop. So the concept here is that if we can just push that boulder, whatever speed you want to push it, if you want to go slow, fine, go slow. I mean, it's so painful to go slow, but go slow. If you want to go fast, then really listen to the cheers of the coaches, right? Really follow clearly the instruction of the coaches. We're going to help you push that boulder up fast. The speed in which you push your boulder up the hill is up to you. You get to pick that. You're an independent business owner. You decide. But if you pause, if you stop, that's when the boulder comes back. And that's where people lose their vision. They think, oh, I can't do this, right? Or ACN doesn't work. Please. ACN is 32 years in business, and the most average people, you hear Mr. Provenzano say it, right? I know all the RVPs and all the SVPs and all the co-founders, and nobody possesses superstar talent. And every time he says that, I kind of go, Great. That's not nice. Right? I do too. No, just joking. But it's true. Most of us have never done direct sales or multi-level marketing before that hit RVP and above. But it's the consistent pushing of the boulder. I'm telling you right now, I really need you to look me in the eyes and I need you to hear me when I tell you this. Getting to RVP isn't easy. It's not. It's not. If it was, everybody would do it, right? But can you do it? Absolutely. Has it been documented that people have done it? Absolutely, right? ACN works. You have leaders who are willing to teach you what it is they've done in order to have the success that they're having. One of my quotes is this: when you make money, I make money. So why would I ill advise you and teach you to do something that isn't going to be profitable for you? Because if you're not profitable, I'm not profitable. Like, that doesn't make sense. We teach income generating activities. Mr. Kupich teaches me to say this in training. In mindset, we go over like make a decision, and then it said gets coachable, right? So he says this, he goes, Keri, train it this way. I was like, okay. And so, you do what the founder says, right? He goes, say this. He goes, listen, we need you to be coachable. We need you to be coachable. We're so many years in business. We've had all this, created this success. The system works if you just follow the system. He says, so we need you to be coachable. He goes, but we know that you're not going to. He goes, so go try it your own way. Go, absolutely go try it your own way. And what you're going to find is that your way doesn't work. But that's okay. We're still here. Come on back. Come on back. When you're ready to do it our way, come on back, right? Be coachable, and then we'll help you succeed. And when he trained me on that the first time, I was all, were you watching me in the very first month of my getting started? Because that's exactly what I did. It's like, yeah, I know. No, but that's what most of us do. We go to try to do it our own way, but then those of us who are coachable and really want to push the boulder up the hill, we come back to the system. We learn how to rock the boulder and to push it consistently up the hill, whether it's fast, slow, medium, doesn't matter. But when you have your coaches cheering you along the way, we've already rolled a boulder up the hill. We know what it looks like. We know what it feels like. We know what struggles you're going to go through. And this is why Mr. Provenzano says on the emotional roller coaster part, right? There's an emotional roller coaster in everything, whether it's your significant other, your children, right? Your job, your neighborhood, your grocery store, whatever. There's an emotional roller coaster in every aspect of our lives. And so ACN is no different. So if somebody told you there isn't going to be ups and downs and all of that when you got started, I apologize, because that's completely untrue. You're in business. No, there's no crying in business, that whole thing. However, you're in business for yourself. And so the idea that you get to pick the pace in which you roll up the boulder also means you need to be the one prodding your own little tushy, right, to do something consistently over a long enough period of time. I'm not saying you need to take 7 hours a day. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is whatever time you have to build ACN part-time, be efficient and effective in that time and follow the directions of your leadership. Because again, we're not going to ill-advise you. We're going to teach you what it is to do it so that you can generate an income, because when you generate an income, we generate an income. If you don't make any money, we don't make any money. So we're encouraging you along the way in pushing up that boulder, because we know what it looks like. We absolutely know what it looks like. So I really hope that as you dream your FU money, whether it's simple or whether it's grandiose, right? Do not let anybody talk you out of whatever your FU money looks like. The other conversation I had with somebody the other day after showing the business, we're talking about how, if you love what you do, when you get money out of the way, which is what ACN is designed to do, when you get money out of the way and you love what you do, you can keep doing it. Nobody said you have to stop. But imagine this. So some of you love what you do. Yes? Okay, so if you love what you do and you get money out of the way and you're doing it now for the love of what you do versus to pay your bills, imagine how much more effective you will be in what it is you love doing, because you're doing it for the love of it, not for the need of the financial part, right? And if you don't love what you do, which I think is the majority, I think most of the time the people I meet, right, they don't love what they do for whatever reasons, right? That's fine. So when you get money out of the way, now you could go do what you love to do because you can. You don't need the money result of, like I always want to be a rock star. So I'm going to be a rock star, Mr. Thomas. Yeah, I'm going to be, the ACN stage is great, but maybe at one point I'll just bust out a song for 3 minutes and then have my rock star moment. But right. But if you have some sort of musical talent, I don't. But if you had a musical talent and you get money out of the way and that's what you want to go do, if you're an artist and you have money out of the way and that's what you want to go do, right? If you want to be a school teacher and you get money out of the way and that's what you want to go do, whatever it is that you want to go do, you get money out of the way, you could go do it. And that's the concept of ACN. And that's the concept of the leadership. When we teach income generating activities, it's on purpose and it's on point. And we're cheering you along the way as you're pushing up your boulder. And most of us are okay with the pace in which you want to push your boulder up the hill. But if you pause, if you stop, the boulder is going to roll back on you. And then if you choose, you can dust the, pick yourself up and dust yourself off and start again. Many of us have had to do that, right? That's totally fine. That's totally fine. Some of you have heard me say, Mr. Provenzano years ago gave me some dust, some magical dust that says, this is your new start date. What is today? July 14th, 2025, right? This is your new start date. Your journey is your journey. Your journey is designed to inspire somebody, right? Mrs. Driscoll's start, right? Oh, I made $14,000 in a couple of weeks. Right? You guys all see me teaser about that. Yeah, that wasn't my start, but that start, her start was designed to inspire somebody like me, who's a shark, who's super hungry. Oh, well, I want to make that kind of money. And then I didn't, which is fine, right? So my journey is when I stand beside my sister on stages and I say, I'm going first because I made $500, right? So, but then my journey is, well, fine, she made all that money and she hit RVP in like 2.5 years. Well, our organization hit RVP in 3.5 years. Took me a month and a half to become coachable. I went the other direction, came back, started being coachable, hit RVP in 3.5 years. So that's my story, right? Some of you on this call are like, oh, Ms. Roeder, I've been in for 10, 15 years and I'm still in ETL. Okay, a little magical dust, that's fine. Don't stop pushing the boulder. Because when you continue to push the boulder and start to be coachable and you can get on the other side, your story is designed to inspire people who've been around for a minute, right? To say, oh my God, Suzanne Candler, that woman, when I roll her up on RVP, that's our big joke. I'm going to roll up her in a wheelchair. But when she hits RVP and she stands at that podium, crying, and we won't be able to understand what she says. And by the way, she talks just as fast and loud as I do, right? And more. Anyway, but when she's standing at that podium sharing her story, and you look at her age, she is the most beautiful woman, but she is not young. Okay. So when you look at her age, she's standing at the RVP, her promotion, telling her story. That story is going to inspire so many people because they're going to look at her and go, wow, she was in for over a decade before she hit RVP. She hit it part-time at her age. Like, that's incredible. She's going to be able to tell you things and it's going to inspire people. But if you stop pushing that boulder, it'll roll back on you. And if you don't restart and do it again, if you don't eventually get over that hill, whatever your hill looks like, your inspirational story will not exist to inspire other people to push that boulder up the hill. So I see some chats. So I hope that the FU thing, house on the lake, see, Suzanne, I hope that you dream. I hope that you dream big, whatever your big looks like. And I hope that you allow us to cheer you alongside as you push up that boulder and just consistent effort over a long enough period of time, you will get where you want to go. It's just a matter of your decision, your coachability, and then the pace in which you want to go. We're totally cool with it. We'll walk you around. We'll go with you at that pace. If you want to go fast, we can go fast. If you want to go slow, we can go slow. But ultimately, don't give up. Don't give up on yourself because you caught the vision of what ACN can do to change your life. And I don't want anybody to ever talk you out of that. That's the part that kind of upsets me the most is when I see people walk away from their dream that they could have done something successful in this business. That part makes me sad, especially when it's based on somebody else's opinion. And there's an old saying, I'm going to end with this. I used to say this in my, back when we used to do longer presentations. I used to say this, listen, if somebody has a negative opinion about you doing ACN, I want you to say this. If I'm going to buy into your opinion, then you need to pay for my mortgage. You need to pay for my utilities. You need to pay for my kids' food, my kids' clothing, my kids' college. And if you're willing to pay for all of that, then I will buy your opinion. If not, you and your opinion can go that direction, because I'm doing this big, I'm doing this with or without you. Do not stop me. Do not ever interrupt me again. You can go over there, because I am going to the top of this company with or and apparently without you. And I could give a rat's beep. There I go with the beeping thing again, right? Because when you decide to roll that boulder up the hill and you don't allow anybody other than, you don't allow any voices in your ear other than people cheering you on and your coaches telling you what to do and the cheers of the crowd and all that, that's how you get your boulder up the hill. And that's what I want for every single one of you. So I'm going to turn this call back over to you, Mr. Thomas. I love you. I'm so privileged to be a part of these calls and being able to share my 15 years of experience and my emotions and look at myself in the mirror, right? And do all that. So it's anyway, so I'm gonna turn this call back to you. You know how much I love you and respect you. You're just amazing. And I appreciate you.